Welcome back to another episode of Cobra Kai Companion. And I am Peter. And you guys, we're doing another episode review. And joining me, as always, on the other side of the mic is Watch Party. How you doing, sir?
I am very excited to be here.
Yes, me too. As always, excited to sit down and talk Cobra Kai with you. Even if if it's one of the bad eggs. Dimitri's gotten to me. I'm trying.
Good pun on bad
Yeah.
eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll get to it. Not actually no news has come out since the last time we recorded. But we had mentioned previously that some new merch was in the works. So today I did unveil new merch that you can get for the Cobra Kai Companion Store on Threadless. The link is in the show notes on every description or however you can look at it through your podcast app. Just click on that and then just scroll until you see the link for the CKK Threadless merch store or whatever. It's a link. You just go there, it'll take you there. But the Okinawan Assassin. So that is out there. A lot of people have been sharing it. A lot of love. Again, shout out to Alondra for the amazing artwork. And John Hurwitz himself purchased one. So there you go. Be like
Yes,
John.
he did. You made a sale to John.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a picture in a few weeks.
I would hope so. That'd be awesome.
Maybe there'll be a good opportunity for him to wear that. Like in the writer's room or something in a few weeks, and he can
Yeah,
post that picture.
I like
So
that. You're right.
yeah.
Yeah. We're less than, well, maybe not less than,
So
about
maybe
2 weeks
if
left.
he's along with the Cobra Kai crew, take that shot and post it.
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. So the artwork is approved by John Hurwitz. Is I would think so, right? Safe to say. I mean, if he didn't like it, he wouldn't buy it, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So appreciate that, John, if you're listening. So yeah, again, just look at the show notes and you'll see the link to the merch store. It's on the Threadless website. You can check out, see some of the other stuff available as well. And if money's a little tight right now, just kind of check it periodically. Sometimes there's sales going on. I know one just ended previously, so prices went back up. I know you were able to get a t-shirt for like $15, but there are like premium fabrics and things of that nature, hoodies. If you don't want like clothing, you can get it on a mug, magnet, sticker, what have you. So yeah, just take a look. I'm sure there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah. Watch party. Can you think of anything else that's kind of worthy of sharing right now? I don't know.
Cobra Kai
If
related? Not
yeah,
really. Yeah, it's the slow season. It's not even like the off season. It's like the non-existent season. Where
yeah.
everyone
The
is.
the extended universe, if we want to call it that. Susan Gallagher, who plays Homeless Lynn, she is in a movie called Doggone. And this movie, I believe, has Rob
It's on
Lowe in it.
Netflix. It's on
Is on
Netflix.
Netflix
Yeah,
and it's number one right now.
yeah, it is. I
So
just saw it when I logged in. Yeah.
yep. So there you go. So she's in that. Check that out. We like to support everyone that we can in the Cobra Kai world. And Susan Gallagher, her and Rose Bianco, who plays Yaya, both of them have been doing a lot. They were both in Marvel properties, right? Susan was
Mhm.
in Loki. Rose was in WandaVision. So yeah, just go on their filmography, and they've been doing a lot of work. So I'm really happy for them. Happy to see it. So yeah, let's get it.
Peyton has a new show coming up. It's not out yet, but a trailer dropped.
That's right.
Yeah, School
School
Spirits.
Spirit. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Paramount Plus. Yeah, that
Actually, you know
and
what?
for what it's worth, I saw that trailer. I thought it actually looked at least like an interesting concept.
I was about to ask you,
Yeah.
what kind of vibes are you getting in terms of tone?
Um, I think it's definitely like a more horror tone, I think, like because like they're dead, but like they're still in high school. Like I don't have the whole like plot or something, and they're trying to figure out why they died or something. But it is like I think maybe more of a supernatural horror tone or something like that. Um,
Interesting.
I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
Yeah. But I remember thinking like the concept at least it seemed a little bit more interesting than, that last movie she was in or something. So,
Right.
so it may
Yeah.
be something worth checking out at least on
Sure. So
whenever
so
that comes out.
Peyton's
Yeah.
doing things as well, it sounds like.
Mhm.
Don't know if I'll get a chance to check that one out. There's so many things. Like one of my buddies, he's
Oof.
like, "Hey, since you're not into the video game, you gotta check out Last of Us and then let me know what you think." I'm like, "Oh man,
That was actually pretty good. I watched that one this morning. Yeah.
another HBO thing, that's
Yeah.
weekly. That's gonna drive me crazy." But
Mhm.
because I still didn't even watch House of Dragons,
House of Dragon. Oh,
and I said I would after it finished up, so I can binge it. But again, once we finish up our episode reviews for season 5, I can indulge in those things and not feel guilty about it. But
yeah, I know that feeling, the feeling of guilt. Yeah.
yeah, no, I get it. So a couple things I get, I guess before we actually get into this, watch party, I want to shout you out for actually kind of doing the prompts here for our notes.
Oh,
I do appreciate that. You must have been like, if I do this, maybe we can record just that little bit sooner.
well, I wrote it not knowing you were going to read it. I was just writing it as placeholders for myself as I'm writing my notes, like
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah. So the fact that you did it, I'll read it and then we'll kind of go from there. Let's see what happens. And
And we'll
if
see
you
the
continue to
feedback.
do that,
Who wrote
yeah.
those props?
Man, I mean, you're right. I do not, and so I'm sure people will be like, "Hey, these are a little bit better than what we're used to." So we'll see. This one is written by some of my favorite writers,
Mine
Joel
too. Mine too.
Chiaroli,
Yeah.
yep, yep,
Mhm.
yep, and Luan Thomas. For those that may have forgotten, they wrote Mole. Episode 2, season 5, and then back in season 4, one of their episodes was Party Time. A lot of people's favorite. That was the prom episode.
And first learned stand. They wrote, I think, the two best episodes of that season. Maybe.
Oh, and that
Well,
was the
yeah,
hockey one.
yeah,
Yeah, that was the
yeah.
hockey
The
one.
hockey one. No, be there.
No,
How
be
many times did you see people quoting that? Yeah. Mhm.
absolutely, yeah. Well, and also, back to party time. That's also the episode that is kind of the catalyst for season 5, right? Like the beatdown of Stingray, is
It's
in the
true.
end of that
That's true.
episode.
The first of
Yeah.
that. Mhm.
So, directed by Joel Nova, one of my favorite directors as well. He did the Puerto Rico stuff, which was standing for Mexico earlier in the season.
Mhm.
And if I'm not mistaken, he just did, was it 506 or 505? I think it was
He
506.
did the last one. Yeah.
Okay, right,
506.
right,
Yeah.
right. Ouroboros.
Mhm.
So back to back, and guess what, guys? He's gonna be back for episode 10. He did that one as well, and I definitely need to reach out and because he did a lot of these episodes. All right, so starting off with this, as always, Amy provided the synopsis. She says Terry Silver continues his takeover. Anthony gets the dirtiest of swirlies. Mitch has no problem taking Cobra Kai's free snacks, and our Miyagi Fang senseis remind us in voiceover that Cobra Kai is like a virus. Chozen trains the kids this time around in a reverse Easter egg hunt that will pay off in a couple of episodes. They fail and learn and engage in a little teenage paranoia and infighting before the lesson really sinks in. Meanwhile, over at Cobra Kai, Terry and Kim's move is to fight the children, pit them against each other, and play some mind games. Tori continues to be wary of this new Cobra Kai. Devin's competitive streak comes out, and Kenny more than prove himself on the mat. At Amanda's suggestion, Johnny and Daniel go visit Kreese in jail, where he's now the big man on campus. They play a uh, they they play. I was thinking like Big Sensei. Like, would that work? Big Sensei on campus? I mean, he's the only sensei on campus as far as we know. They play a game of good cop, bad cop. Spoiler: they're both a bad cop, and they convince him to help them in exchange for a top shelf lawyer. In the end, Kreese gives up the goods on Terry, and we get a couple of flashbacks of them in better days. Kreese informs them that Terry's always had a desire to take things international, and he warns them of the Sakai Takai. In return for this information, he gets a handwritten reminder that Johnny and Daniel are done playing. I like that. So there you go.
Yeah.
She teases that little note there too. So I like that. Appreciate that, Amy. Thank you as always.
One thing she said, well, we'll get to it when we there, but she said Terry Silver's playing mind games. I don't think of it like that, but maybe we'll discuss it when we get to this part.
Hope too. I hope too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah. First off, your thoughts on this episode?
I think this is like a bridge episode, right? So episode 6 was like a really good high point, ended really strong with the Daniel going back to the dojo and everything. It's a lot of people, some people say it's their favorite of the series. It's it's a really good one. And then it's like it's like we got a bridge between that to the end of the season. Like, they're trying to get to this big fight at the end of the season. And, they also want to introduce what I assume is going to be the plot for next season, which is the Sekai Taikai. So it's like, but like, we're not there yet. So it's like the bridge to if next episode is setting up in a way season 6, which I think we'll talk about that for the next episode. But so it's like we got a bridge from where we were to there, and so that's kind of what this episode is.
Okay, so would you obviously you just defined bridge? Would you also call this maybe this isn't a good example for like a well what do they call it like a bottle episode, right? It's not that because but bottle episodes serve a purpose in terms of
Oh,
like financial reasons, like let's keep all the locations local, not go outside.
when they don't have any money left in their budget or
Yes,
something,
I don't yeah, I don't think it's
or
that,
the
but
tank episode where like that's where they have like one standalone episode that like exists outside of whatever narrative. I forget what that's called.
usually,
Yeah,
yeah, like for those that watch Breaking Bad, it was the Fly episode, which a lot of
yeah,
people were like,
right.
"What is this?"
Hmm.
It's just Walt chasing a fly, basically the entire episode. But
Hmm.
I only thought of that, and I don't think this is that. It is because like Miyagi-Do is just in the backyard, Cobra Kai flagship, and then the prison, which is more than likely filmed on location.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's just there's not a lot of movement and just a few lessons here for each of the students. So, but I
Yeah,
do like that.
that's what it is. It's something I said in a video recently. It's like it's more like 3 scenes of an episode that gets stretched out to a full episode. Um,
Right.
so
I
like
mean,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Go
yeah, yeah.
ahead.
That's all it was. It's just some lessons and,
Mhm.
and just some dialogue. So you think back to this, the only thing that really sticks out is like, oh, well, okay, if you're talking to like a casual Cobra Kai fan, like, hey, yeah, yeah, Cobra Kai, I love that show, and but that person wouldn't be able to name like half the kids, right? They just enjoy the show. If you talk to
Right.
that
Yeah.
person and be like, how would you reference this episode? Oh, like the one where Chozen teaches the kids, right? And that's basically it.
Yeah, yeah, the one who Chozen teaches the kids. Maybe they remember the flashback, which I think is
Oh,
probably the
right.
best part of the episode. But yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, could use more of that. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Because some things I think definitely kind of made us it had me questioning some things for sure, and we'll get to it. So okay, let's jump in here. Opening montage. It's a Karate War Council. We got Daniel, Amanda, Johnny, and Chosen narrating. Cobra Kai taking over the valley, and this is also where Anthony is jumped and given a dark swirly. These are your prompts. So,
Yes.
one of the T-shirt designs, as a swag or a giveaway, or whatever, is also the end snake of each episode.
I didn't, yeah, I didn't notice that actually. I think someone else mentioned it, but no, I didn't notice. Yeah, it also not in the prompt because I didn't know. Like it's also we see the beginning of Mitch, because he's hanging with the Cobras, or he's like eating the food or something that they're giving
Yeah,
away.
he's eating the snake bites. Now,
Yeah,
do you think that we saw Bert, Nate, and Chris walking? Do you think they lost Mitch, or did they just happen to run into him there? Like they were looking at something, and then they're all talking like, where'd Mitch go? Oh,
no,
I
I
guess
think
he
they were looking
left.
for Mitch. Yeah, like I think
Okay,
like he wandered off. Because later they refer to it as the mall, whatever. But when she's talking to Anthony, so yeah, like I feel like they were all there shopping or something, and he wandered over there by
yeah,
himself.
I'm sure that they filmed that in Atlanta, but just from the season 5 promos that they put up in the Grove, there's a mall there. It kind of looks like that kind of area. So
Hmm.
I can that's kind of what I like to think, where they had
Yeah,
all the Terry Silver and Sensei Kim panels and whatnot on the buildings, and Ken or our mutual friend Ken Cole went down there. A lot of people went down there, but I can tell it definitely screams mall to me just because there's like a changing table like in the
yeah,
men's
it
restroom.
was actually a mall or shopping center because actually this set leaked. Well, it leaked because they were shooting in a public place,
Oh,
They had it like roped off beforehand, and I know someone saw it and took a shot
oh,
of
interesting. I did
that.
not see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the toilet
Yeah.
leak too.
That was something, yeah, back
Uh,
before it came out. I had a picture. In fact, I could probably find it if I look it up. But yeah,
okay.
um
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe if you
it
find
was
out, we
the
can share
exterior.
that.
Yeah, it was the exterior. With like the big Terry Silver cutout and the booth set up there.
Yeah, I now I'm
But
starting to wonder if that came up in my interview with AJ, who plays Edwin, because he's in this scene as well.
mhm.
So yeah, we might have to go back to and listen. But so you're confirming that it was definitely a mall. So even if he wasn't, if he didn't remember, I'm sure he'd remember. But anyway,
Yeah. Oh, one thing I noted is Anthony is kind of dumb here. Like he goes up to that table, takes his shirt, and then drops it. Like now, I'm not saying he deserved the swirly, but like, why is he gonna go do that and provoke them like that? Like, how stupid.
not only that, my note is like, well, why is he there by himself? Like he knows he's
Right,
at
that
one of the
too. Yeah.
locations. You know that
Mhm.
that's the flagship. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
I no, I think this is a new location that's opening.
Is
Um,
that right? Oh, okay.
yeah, so and maybe that's also why they didn't know it was going to be there, but still, like Anthony walks up to it.
It's a good
Because
point.
yeah,
I guess I got thrown off a little bit because Dieter happens to be sitting there, but they're
right,
going to use they got a bunch of students they're going to send to like different locations to work
mhm,
these tables. But
mhm.
I guess it is a new location because did you catch any of the hashtags on Sam's phone when she was looking at Instagram?
I did look at it once, but well, what was it though? I don't
So
remember.
so the post was sponsored, right? So Cobra Kai, they
Right,
want
yeah.
this out there, right? So it's
Mhm,
sponsored, so that way like it gets as many eyes as they can see. Two of the hashtags that I wrote down was hashtag come join us and
mhm.
hashtag new location coming soon. So
Right. Mhm,
which I get the idea of that. Like nobody's typing in those specific hashtags, so you might as well
mhm.
just type them up as sentences. Come and join us. New location coming soon.
Yeah.
But I just thought it
Right.
was funny. It's like somebody older, that's typing out
Mhm.
the description on Instagram. Let's see. Oh, the toilet. It was peanut butter. No, no, it was a Snickers and Pepsi. I believe
Oh,
is what was used.
well, that doesn't sound disturbing at all.
Yeah. No, not as disturbing as the way it looks.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're at LaRusso Auto. They're laying out the map, and Amanda suggests to beat a monster, they need a monster. What is this table?
It, oh, it's a map of the valley, right? Now, why
Right.
it's there, like, do they use this to sell cars? I think I remember I was suspecting at some point if this was like a computer map that they can adjust, like they can put different things on the screen.
Right.
Um, like different cars. You if you're actually using it. Like when I bought my last car, um
It pulls out this map and
the finance guy had we were working on the table, like he's
okay.
writing on the table, like, and it was
Ah,
sort of like this. So it was like his desk, but he was like at his desk and he's like writing on the table, and it was like the computer and everything.
you got the idea from
Split
this
screen.
episode.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't have it before it.
But I don't know if it's permanently. I mean, well, it looks like it. Well,
I like how it
maybe
lights up and
it's
everything too.
gruesome, but like maybe it is like that. Like you can adjust that. Like you can put different things on the screen or something like that's adjustable. I don't know.
Maybe,
Otherwise, I don't know. Like what it was when I was at the finance guy.
Yeah, I think maybe you can also use it for like, oh, well, we don't have that particular make and model here. If you go to this location, they can, pull up the map or whatnot. And
Yeah, but that's pretty extravagant just for like a map to show
yeah,
to go to the other
I do
the
like the
other
way it's shot
location.
though.
It
Just
is
the look of it.
beautiful. And we never found out what the other little markers are.
Right.
They're
Erasers or
there's
something.
Kirkland Costco coffee creamers with little Cobra Kai flags that I
Right.
think they cut out from the flyers they were passing out and mailing out.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Or
I,
tearing them off.
yeah, tearing them off. Yeah, but it says Kirkland, right? So that's Costco.
Yeah.
But the other ones, like the big flat ones, it's never found out what that is, what it's for. I don't know.
I'm sure we can find out. Placeholder on that. we will find out.
We will.
That's going to be our
We're
mission.
determined. If
Yeah, we
only
really
we
are.
could get an interview with one of the directors or writers.
Or something, or something. Yeah. Uh, Now, a lot of people have been talking about this, and you mentioned that in the Cobra Guys' episode or recap of this very episode, they mentioned something, and we'll leave it at that. Just the fact that they brought it up, for those that want to go check out their episode, do so because I'm a fan of them as well. But Chosen is the only one that goes into this fighting stance when like a customer
Oh,
walks
walks
in,
in.
right?
Hmm.
So was he walking around looking for somebody that works there? Like, where's Anoush? Where's Louis? Right?
They're busy, man. They all got
Clearly,
customers.
Louis
Yeah.
is probably talking to some mamacita, right?
Yeah.
We learned that from season three. But I, but I too, I don't know if I would be if I was chosen. I too would be like on guard, right? Because this guy walks in and he's built like Terry Crews, right? He's built like the
Right.
side of a building,
Hmm.
you know. I think that says more about the other two than chosen, right? Like
Hmm.
Johnny and Daniel aren't even. I mean, I don't know. I guess they're comfortable there, safe there.
Hmm.
Question mark. Chosen's just always on alert, right? Can never be too
Yeah,
cautious.
he's always been ready to attack.
Absolutely. Let's see here. We go to Miyagi-Do, where Anthony is unsure about the training. Hawk and Dimitri encourage Miguel to get back with Sam, while skeptical of Robbie uh, returning to Miyagi-Do.
Hmm.
Chosen introduces the day's lesson, and they must protect their egg from a snake. Is it Yambaru Kuina? Protect egg from Kumashima Habu. A
Yes,
lot of words.
I copied it from the subtitles, but I don't
Yeah.
the
I wrote
the
that down too.
pronunciation. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that Chris was like, what is that? Some sort of like what was it? Secret karate? I forgot what he says about. He mentions like the throat rip, which is actually funny because Chosen does like a throat rip in episode two.
Hmm.
So it's the same writers. I wonder if that's just kind of a reference to that previous thing that Chosen did. I don't know.
Oh, that would be kind of at least a nice little bit of continuation there. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
cool.
I feel like the last episode was a little Cobra Kai heavy, so I kind of do miss this group of kids. We haven't
Hmm.
really seen Dimitri a whole lot since episode four, right? Where he sells Johnny the phone.
Yeah, Chris hasn't been around much. Nate is
Right,
here. We haven't had much of him, especially too. Um, so yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Yep. Let's see here. Cobra Kai in the previous episode, they put a small stick on their table. Chosen has a much bigger stick on his. Don't know if you noticed that. I think it's actually a bow staff, but
Yeah.
yeah, the eggs. A little callback to Karate Kid Part One about the belt, J.C. Penney. This one,
Mhm.
Chosen gets the eggs from Trader Joe, 3.29.
Which is how it's set in the past because apparently eggs are a lot more expensive now.
Yeah, they are. So when he said
Yeah.
3.29, I nearly fell out of my seat. I was like, I go to Trader Joe, but we actually go to New Seasons more often.
Mhm.
And I feel, what? I'm not going to speak on it because I don't know. I usually buy milk. I get sent there to go buy milk for the kids, so I don't know about the eggs.
I went to Trader Joe's for this recap and I took a picture of the most
Okay.
expensive. Admittedly, it was the most expensive pair, but where I was at, they had them for $6.99, um, which was like the organic free range. But yeah, so $6.99. I asked someone in LA, what
Uh,
are eggs out there? And they told me $10, like $9.99 or something. I asked for a
oh my
picture,
God.
but I didn't get one. So I don't know.
American money, like,
Yeah, it's
like American
U.S.
currency.
currency, U.S.
Oh,
currency. Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Um.
ten
So
dollars.
again, I don't know if that was like the
Yeah.
most expensive or something, but I asked for a picture. I didn't get one, but I was told that. So
I wonder if Chosen would get like, because for this exercise, would Chosen get the
mhm.
cheap eggs or does it matter?
No, I don't think so. He's got like the brown eggs, um,
Right.
and I think they're like the free range or something like, only the best high quality for his students.
I think so. I think so. I
Yeah.
mean, he's going to be eating it later on
Because
as well.
he
So,
does. Later he'll start cooking them too. So he's like, he doesn't know, like if they figure it out on the very first go and he doesn't end up breaking any eggs, well then he's gonna have to eat them, right? So
right. Yeah. Or
he's gonna wait
something.
them. So he went into it with the optimistic approach that they would figure it out at the very first go. So he was ready to eat all the eggs.
Right, right. Yeah. Man, he wastes some just to prove a point, question mark, I guess, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
Let's see if I got any other notes here. So on the table, along with his big stick, there are some throwing knives, a couple of sais, and are these his or because we talked about it, right? Like did he bring this stuff on the undercarry of the plane or
I think he brought maybe the throwing knives. It is possible some of the nunchucks,
yeah, I
whatever, were
guess they could go.
Daniels.
Yeah, if he checks it in under like in the undercarriage is probably okay, I guess. I don't know. There's still weapons though, right? I'd imagine you can't bring weapons on the plane.
Oh,
You
if
seen
you
Con
check
Air,
them.
right? Well, I mean, Con Air, right? Put the bunny back in the box or whatever the
Yeah.
line is. Like, somebody can wander down there and come across his bag of weapons. I don't know. Got some questions. Got some questions here.
Some questions. Yeah.
We see at the karate Cobra Kai flagship, Devin wonders why they're training so hard, and Tori gives her the cold shoulder. Kyler reminds Kenny he's number one, and upstairs, Sensei Kim tells Silver they don't have strong leaders, and a competition is needed.
I like Kyler. Um, Kyler's just sort of a delight. This is like I feel like this episode is peak Kyler in a way
Okay, okay,
because you get everything like he's like kind of like a jerk and he's bad, but like he's also this weird kind of like lovable. So you'll be deuces, he tells Kenny. So
yeah, he definitely has an interesting way of speaking for sure.
yeah.
Deuces. But I thought this was interesting because the kids don't know they're being watched. But so I've never taken martial arts, so I could be speaking out of place here or whatever. But in terms of like the military, right? When you're in ranks, you
Hmm.
stay in ranks, right?
Hmm.
So for this exercise, Devin kind of like breaks rank just to speak to Tori, which
Hmm.
I feel is not something you would do. So that it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I was just like, ooh, what if like one of those senseis does turn a corner? And what about like Sensei Odell, for example? Like, is he not watching? Is none of the senseis watching? Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's not something you're supposed to do. But Kyler does it as well to talk to Kenny.
Yeah, I feel like it's just there's a certain drill they're doing and it's like an on your own drill. So
Okay.
like, obviously like they're setting their own pace or something.
Well, that's true because
Yeah.
even Kyler tells him like to slow down, so it's not like in not in cadence, right? So it's not like they're
Hmm.
they're kind of going by the numbers. It's just kind of like on your own.
Hmm.
Okay, I can see that. Like the jumping jacks, right? Just kind of knock out how many you can do.
Yeah.
Sure.
And let's see. I had a note what Sensei Kim believes is good leadership. Um so she's talking about you have no leaders. And I'm just kind of wondering, oh yeah, that's right. Like why does she think that or is unsure of Tori? Because the way I see it is if you think of episode 6, Devin didn't put on the Cobra Kai gi at the Topanga Karate, and then she worked with Tori, and then specifically joined Cobra Kai, came to the flagship dojo, and told them it was because of Tori. So isn't that good leadership? So like, why is Sensei Kim unsure? Like that was sort of like other than plot, but
Right,
like,
right. I wonder if it's that like because it serves the plot. I mean, she
yeah.
does mention Tori needs improvements, but she doesn't like specify where. But it could also be like a thing where she's been observing them, and
Mhm.
maybe aside from that example where she brought in like a new recruit, maybe she's
Mhm.
not like kind of exhibiting like any what she defines as a leader,
Yeah.
amongst this rank. I mean, she says she's like her like one of the best fighters, right? Or is the best fighter
You're a top
or best
student,
student,
right?
top
Yeah.
student, right?
But leadership, is unsure. Which I mean, of course, we also know, we the audience know that Tori is working with Kreese to take down Cobra Kai still at this point. So
Right. Maybe,
yeah.
maybe this is more for like Sensei Kim, who can
Mhm.
kind of sense, there's a what is the expression is Star Wars like something
The
in the forest
disturbance
or
in the force.
disturbance. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe that's what but for the Sith side, right? Like
Mhm.
she's sensing some sort of disturbance, and maybe that's what it is. She's calling Tori not a good leader. Basically, I'm not saying
Yeah.
she's a bad leader, but yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Mhm.
Let's see. I think that's all I have for that part. We go to
We go to jail.
Go to jail. All right.
Yeah.
Don't collect 200. Daniel and Johnny are visiting Kreese. Daniel tries to play deal maker, and they have a common enemy, which is Terry Silver. And at this point, Kreese is unwilling to help. I do like this little bit of great Gabriel here too, where he kind of
Oh
comes out of
yeah.
the frame. He's like, "Do you want anything from the vending machine?"
Yeah.
And the guy coordinates, uh, which
And from your interview, like that was kind of like his idea, like he should come back. He had said that.
yeah. And
Yeah.
you're right, right. So I think the Cornets was also ad-libbed, if I'm
Coordinate.
not
Yeah.
mistaken. But I like originally I thought that might have been kind of a callback to like, Daniel and Johnny Cornuts, right, from season 3.
Also written by Joe and Luan.
Right, the same episode. Yeah, the Chop
Yeah.
Shop. So it could be, or just a big
Yeah.
coincidence, and we feel like not a lot of things are coincidental when it comes to this show. So, well, except for Major Pain, right? Season 4, that
Yeah.
was that was a coincidence. Um, Anything else that you kind of picked up in this first sequence? Because we do kind of cut back and forth here.
Um, yeah, I wrote that Kreese seems to know immediately why they're here there. Like they didn't even like necessarily were forthright, but like he understands, no, they want to take down Silver and they need something from me, to help with that.
Well, I mean, because he had his own plan, right, to have Daniel
Hmm.
or to lead Daniel to
Hmm.
to Silver, and he knows from Tori that Silver kicked his ass, and so that's got to be it, right? I mean, you sit there by yourself in jail, and your mind just wanders off. It just starts thinking about all the possibilities of X, Y, and Z. So I'm sure he had an idea,
Hmm.
that
Yeah,
this would be it.
right.
Let's see. I There's one bit of note. No, this is it. There's a Gabriel in the background. I don't know if you noticed, but it looks like at one point he's waving his fist at Johnny. Did you catch that?
Waving his fist. I saw him in the background, but no, I didn't see him like
Yeah,
waving his fist. Yeah.
it's almost because I think Owen Harn, who plays Gabriel, he had mentioned in his interview that he wasn't even sure or didn't know that he was in the frame,
Hmm.
but it almost looks like he's looking at Johnny
Hmm.
and kind of like, you better.
Be good. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm
That makes
watching you,
sense. Yeah.
like, or you get this fist or something like that.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if you had anything to add. We could move on.
Um,
Yeah, let's move on to the next scene. I think
yeah,
that's kind of it.
yeah,
Just real quick here at Miyagi-Do, Chozen prepares to get the eggs. Mitch sits on his, which, okay. Anthony doesn't know how to wax on and wax off. This is where Sam finds out about that.
yeah,
And Robbie and Sam almost flirt about sanding the sparring deck. And Dimitri constructed a protective covering that is immediately destroyed, which, if this was one of those science experiments back in school where do what you can to make sure it doesn't break. Like just adding, I think a parachute would have been perfect to what Dimitri made, but not for this exercise.
yeah. Parachute's not going to stop that throwing knife.
No,
Yeah.
but I think the way it's shot is really comedic. Because
Hmm.
I laugh almost every time.
Hmm.
But Chosen is pretty dead shot with that throwing knife. That's pretty spot on. It's like a little box, a
Yeah.
little carton.
But I want to know where he was standing when that came in because like they're in the backyard. It's all open. And then they're all so shocked. Like he comes out of nowhere and it's like, and then in the shot, it almost looks like he's coming out from right in front of him.
No, I think it's much funnier if he was at the sparring deck when it happened, because that's where the table is, right? Unless he packed it all up
Yeah.
as they're like, doing whatever they can to hide the egg from him. I was about to say this might be a version of hide the plantain, but it's not that at all. Completely different.
No,
Hide the
no, no.
eggs is
Very different. Very
reverse Easter
different there.
eggs. I think is
Yeah.
is definitely more par what they're doing. Um,
I had a note
yeah.
didn't Sam tell Anthony she would teach him and they would skip the chores? Like what happened? That was episode 5. What's happened since then? Because it seemed like they never actually got around to it because like she doesn't know that he doesn't know anything and apparently he hasn't actually done any
Hmm.
training then in the interim time.
I don't know. I mean, I guess. Well, what else has happened with everyone else? I mean, recently his dad just got his butt kicked. Chosen comes from Okinawa.
Mhm.
The fifth show up. the tournament happened. So maybe they just put that on the back burner because of the tournament, right? Because towards the end, nope, never mind, wrong
But
season.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was the end of when they were at in Ohio, and she's like, I
Oh,
can
right,
teach
that
you.
too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because like that's the thing, like that was supposed to be her deciding to come back to karate on some level, like because in episode 3, like she's like, I need to get away from karate, and then episode 5, she's like, well, I'll teach you. She's saying that to Anthony. Um,
Right.
but then like she's never, and now we're in episode 7, and I guess they never didn't actually get around to it, I guess is the only thing I can think.
And I believe that's actually something that you put in one of your videos, right? Like you actually want to see that, or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well, it's actually something I had even predicted before the season came out. I thought, you know what? I think Sam is going to teach Anthony. And like, I can't decide. Did I get it right or not? Because she said she would, but then they kind of like put it off. And now here we are.
yeah. Well, I mean, she says it, so you would think that maybe it's just
Yeah.
something that we're not being shown, right?
Yeah.
That could be it, or maybe it's something that was filmed and scrapped for reasons, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say or I mean, if you want to take a push on that, that'll work too.
And did she find herself like this is like the other thinking I had because in episode 3 when she like said she has to take some time to figure out who she is and that's why she broke up with Miguel like that did she do that like it's and that's why she's here she only like half found herself in regards to karate but didn't find herself with Miguel like that's a like there's actually a little bit like a moderate a bit of this like all relationship drama that they're trying to like, at least acknowledge that exists, even though it doesn't, wrap up until episode 10. And it's like
Yeah.
kind of confusing.
I yeah, I mean, so is love, right?
I guess, yeah.
I I think maybe what it is just like maybe on the journey to find herself, like she just wants somebody to kind of respect her space.
Hmm.
Like Miguel, I think she just kind of wanted a break, right? Is really what it was to kind of go back to like a Friends reference, where we
Yeah.
always talk about how Johnny and Daniel is like, the Ross and Rachel,
Hmm.
so if we're gonna keep saying that, why can't we also apply like, oh, we're on a break with these two, right? Because I think we were kind of all making that joke, right?
Hmm.
In that the third episode, right? When they actually broke up. Yeah,
Right.
third because he was back. So and then what else has happened since then? The stuff with her dad and uh, you know,
The water park. Yeah.
understanding
Yeah.
Silver and all that. So yeah, and you know what? And perhaps the fact that, because you wrote it in that little prompt that Miguel talks about how him and Robbie are cool now. I think the growth of their dynamic, it's hard for me to call it a relationship right now, but the growth of their dynamic, maybe Sam sees that and she likes that, for them. And
Yeah.
maybe we can expedite
Yeah.
their relationship based off of that.
Imagine how it would be if someone found that octopus necklace that he dropped right there in Miyagi-Do as they're all
Yeah.
going around all
They
over
just keep.
Miyagi-Do
I
trying to
think they're
hide it.
just, yeah, they're going the wrong way. They keep going
Yeah.
through the doors instead of
Most of
the
them are
side.
hanging out in the backyard right in front of Chozen.
Yeah, it'd be crazy if somebody was like hiding on the side of the house and happened to see it. So that's the other thing too.
Mhm.
Okay, so where do we go now? Are we back to jail again?
No, I
I
think we're at
got three
Cobra
different
Kai.
screens I'm looking at here. Okay, so we're at Cobra Kai, split up. Devin gets. Okay, so Cobra Kai, right? They get
Yeah.
split up. Okay.
Yeah.
Into boys and girls. Kenny and Kyler spar together and lose badly. This is against Sensei Odell, who does
Mhm.
remove his ring. That will
Yes,
come
he does.
back. Uh, let's see. And then Devin and Tori spar Sensei Kim, and Devin kind of goes off her own, and they both get hit. Yeah, what do you think about the fighting here? She's clearly not afraid to hit kids
Sensei Kim.
as a kid.
Well, the Odell as well, but uh,
Yeah, does he get one on them? I guess he does.
yeah,
I mean,
I think he
they're the
gets it.
fist. They're the
Yeah.
fist.
Well, he gets it on Kenny because he's got to protect his king, and
Is it the
so,
ace or
so
whatever?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
I don't know.
he's got to, so Kenny takes all the blows. But yeah, and Sensei Kim, well, definitely, yeah. I mean, I guess that's the point of the exercise is she's she's sparring also Tori and Devin there and whoever else. They fight a superior opponent. So was that your question? What were you getting at?
I know that was pretty much it. Just the
Mhm.
idea of like just kind of your thoughts on it because I mean this isn't like the hitting them with a discipline device. This is
Right.
actually just karate. So
Mhm.
yeah, I guess it doesn't. They got to be ready, right?
Yeah.
You can't go soft on people if you want to make them stronger or stuff like
Mhm.
that. So
Yeah. So when Tori and Devin are fighting, Tori's trying to make some plan, and Devin keeps going after Sensei Kim. And at one point, she says, "Go left," and Devin spins to the right, right into Tori.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They this is
I'm going to bring it up later. I'm going to
yeah,
bring it
yeah.
up later. I'm establishing that Tori's saying things and Devin's like ignoring her. I'll take care of myself and doing the opposite of what Tori says. I
All
just
right, so
wanted
it'll come back.
it'll come up
You're saying,
later. Yeah.
got it. Okay, and I don't think I have anything here other than lesson for teamwork and communication question
Mhm.
mark. So at Miyagi-Do, Chosen breaks eggs of Chris and Mitch.
You skipped. We're at jail.
We're in jail, back in jail.
Yeah. Yeah. The episode basically just rotates between the three.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now I kind of wonder if we should have just broken up into like the three different locations and talked about it like that.
I considered that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. We're at jail. Kreese implies he gave LaRusso the newspaper lead. Daniel offers Kreese his attorney in exchange for the information they want, and Kreese accepts this deal. Did you catch the name of the author of the article
The name of the author, no. I
on
did
the
read
paper
it, but
clipping? Yeah, yeah. It's by Nikki Blasi, Blasi,
hmm.
and the person that comes up when you pull this up, I don't know. I mean, she's a video creator of sorts, like a content creator. She's a college student.
Is it like someone they know, or did they just make up a name who just happened to be um
Yeah, I cannot answer that because I do not know the answer. But I'm looking at these pictures, and she appears to be like some sort of influencer and stuff. So
that could just be a coincidence.
could
Then
be. Yeah, but she's I mean this is her Instagram. She's got a YouTube page and stuff. The other one that comes up works in PR and advertising, and that's a different Nikki. But yeah, nope, that's the same one. What?
oh
So she works in PR. I'm trying to see her connection here, if anything, like a
yeah, I don't know if
intern
they
or something. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like somebody like a wrestler or something. I was like, nope, I guess not.
no.
YouTube. Anyway, and the Cobra guys, they did read the entire article on the episode 5. Yeah, they're episode 5. So, yeah, if you read it, it's an actual article. I remember like back in the days, where they would have prop that are in clippings and whatnot in movies or TV show. It's just kind of like random articles that had nothing to do with the movie. It's just because people didn't think that we'd be able to zoom in and see anything clearly.
Right, right.
But here, we get a
Oh wait,
little East.
there's a
Yeah.
Nikki Blasi production assistant art department, Cobra Kai, who
Oh,
works
interesting.
in the art department.
Okay, well, there you
I
go.
found an IMDb profile and is actually credited for over Cobra Kai too.
I just Googled her name, so I wonder if it's the same one. Is there a picture for
No,
her? No,
no.
okay. But that makes more sense, right? That she works in the art department.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I should have started with the IMDb. Yeah, yeah, okay, I see it now. Production assistant, art department in episode 501. Okay, so that's what it is. All right, little nod to my cousin Vinny here. Kreese says
Oh,
that he
yeah.
wants, the top lawyer, not your cousin Vinny, basically. What is he like
No,
your
your
greasy
greasy
cousin?
cousins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Anything else you want to mention? This one was pretty brief.
Yeah, I think this one is greasy. Nice Easter egg. Yeah, I think we got this. I just noted Daniel's the negotiator in all this. Like he's the car salesman. He's the one negotiating the deal with everyone. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's sort of your Daniel characteristic.
yeah, but also like I don't even think Johnny wants to talk to him.
Well, that's that part of it too, which is why earlier he's got to be almost the peacemaker or the go between, you know.
Right.
Um,
Right, right. I think it's previously that Kreese also said some things that kind of agitate Daniel a little bit as well. Let's see. We go to Miyagi-Do, where Chozen breaks the eggs of Chris and Mitch. And like, is it Chris and Mitch are in the tree? It was
no, no,
kind
no.
of,
Chris is in the tree. Mitch is sitting under it. He put the egg like under his body or under his crotch or something, and then
he's trying to
Chosen
hatch it.
throws whatever up, and like Chris falls or something, and it breaks them both.
Yeah, I do like the zoom in shot to like Chosen's face. It kind of reminds me of like Kung Fu flicks, but
Right?
also
Yeah.
the
Right. Mhm.
like some of the Clint Eastwood movies too, like the Man Who Has No Name. Some of those, there's some of
Mhm.
those shots as well. Like it's kind of
Mhm.
reminiscent of that. Let's see here, Robbie, who buries it. Now, this is also it's funny that Joey Lawad also wrote Party Time because there, if you remember in my review, I had mentioned that Robbie falls for like the biggest movie trope of them all. It's like Tori's like, "Here, give me a hand," and she pulls him into the pool. This is like
Oh yeah.
Robbie buries an egg with his back towards everybody, right? Like he's not.
In the backyard when
Yeah,
Chosen is in the backyard. What I can't get about this is like they're all in the backyard and it Chosen you can see everything and Chosen keeps sneaking up on them. Like, how does he sneak up when he was just with someone else 20 feet away? Like,
yeah, that's the thing, right? It's just like
mhm,
how are they not that aware, of their surroundings, So that's the thing that kind of gets me too. Like Robbie is supposed to be like one of their top students, question mark,
mhm,
right? Because they're
mhm,
kind of merging the
mhm,
dojos, but nonetheless,
mhm.
you would think that his awareness is better than this,
And
having
what
his
did he
back.
do with all the time beforehand? Like Chosen gave them time. Dimitri built a contraption. What was he doing? Like, just
Uh, he was digging a hole,
yeah, yeah, I
you
guess digging the
know,
hole. Mhm,
with
mhm.
his fingernail. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
he's pretty proud of where he won't get in here.
Mhm,
No, but shout out to Chosen with the little garden tool side thing
mhm,
from Karate Kid Part Two.
mhm.
It's called something I totally forgot what it was, but
Didn't he call it a spear in Karate Kid 2?
it is a spear,
Thought
but just the fact
I
that
thought
it
he
has.
referred to it as a yeah, spear.
Well, not that it was mentioned, but I know it has a name because, like, I think we've talked about it on Twitter. Because Sensei Pilani, she dabbles with the size, right? That's her weapon.
Right, right. Mhm.
And there was somebody else that I don't know how to how do you say dabbles in the sai, or practices with them or whatever, right? Like somebody else who also uses the sai.
He
Like they
knows
were
like
talking about it and what it's called.
Okinawan weapons. Yeah, like mhm,
So yeah, they're just kind of talking about it. I know there's a name, but I don't have it. So we'll call it a spear. But it's the
mhm,
same spear that Chozen had in Karate
mhm.
Kid Part Two.
Right, too. Right.
So yep, he was just standing there behind Robbie. Here we also now Hawk or Eli rather or Faux Hawk, soon to be Faux Hawk. He is like what stunned by the little nunchuck display, right? Is that what's going on? Because he just stands there, right?
Right. I guess like he's first he's all bravado and then like he's like yeah, stunned, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. He wasn't ready, basically, and then
Yeah.
that's how he gets his egg smashed, and Anthony gives up immediately because
Mhm,
okay, that's what it was. He hits the egg upwards with the
mhm,
nunchuck, and then is able to hit it sideways, and then it
mhm.
it splatters onto the windshield
Right.
where Anthony was hiding in the vehicle, and he immediately gives up. So
Mhm.
I do like Yuji's facial reaction here, just kind of like, just very disappointed, like, "Oh, you just gave up so easily."
Yeah, he's very disappointed with a lot of them. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And then lastly, we get Sam and Miguel who are inside, and they kind of continue their awkward conversation, right, from the pool, I guess.
Right, they do. I think this is where he says I think it helped um that they were broken up for him to get better with Robbie. Um so so
I think
that's
so.
like the one part. Yeah. Mhm,
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
mhm.
Do not
I didn't
believe,
write
yeah.
in the prompt that yeah, like he Yeah, but just Miguel has his egg in his pocket, and then Sam acts like it's in her backpack, but I guess she put it somewhere else, and so because he pulls Sam's out, Chosen at the very end.
No,
Yeah,
I think well, she says it was in her bag, and then when he pulls it out of his pocket, she checks her bag again, and so somehow he had gotten in there.
right. Because he's ninja assassin. He just
He's
disappears and or
well, but
not ninja.
I feel
I should take that. Not ninja. No, karate.
Chosen, if you're
Karate assassin.
listening,
Yeah.
he meant Okinawan
Okay.
assassin.
Okinawan
No,
assassin. Available on t-shirts, mugs,
yeah,
everything.
yeah, absolutely. No, I feel if like Mr. Miyagi was still around, I think it would play out this very same way. I think they would really have fun with it. Like,
Mhm.
it's Miyagi because Miyagi, that's just how he got to the egg,
Right.
because that's my question. Like, how did he get into her bag with her knowing? They must have
Mhm.
had some, a really nice conversation there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think my only other note.
You skipped Bert and Nate on the balance board. Um,
Oh, right. Yes, I did. He was
yeah.
in the water. I like the
Yeah,
shot
yeah.
of that too.
He got in the water and it's cool. It's a great shot. He comes out. It doesn't make sense. Like, 'cause they're like, that's like a little pond and they're in the middle of it, but and how Chosen sneaks up on them, but whatever. It is a cool shot. And then he's dry again after, isn't he?
Well, I mean, I don't think gasoline can stay wet very long.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I think the water just comes right off. Actually, he doesn't even need a squeegee or anything.
Yeah.
Um, I don't question how he got into to the pond. I question why Nate and Bert thought it was safe there. Because he just took it
Right.
over, which
They
is what he
thought he was
does.
like some what troll or whatever that can't cross water.
Or like a vampire. He has to be
Yeah.
invited onto the balance board here to be,
Yeah. He can't cross open water. It would actually be funny if they had in that line.
or he
He
just
can't-
walks over the water.
yeah.
They're like, of course he can. It's chosen. Let's see. We go back to Cobra Kai. Kyler and Kenny are fighting again, and this time, Kenny gives up. But Silver tells him his journey. What is it? Silver tells.
Silver tells him his own, that is Terry Silver's journey on leadership. Like he talks
Ah,
about that where he mentions, I was following people all my life. My father, my captain, my best friend.
well, this is after he
Yeah.
calls him into the back room.
Upstairs. I think it's in his offices upstairs, but um
Right. The
which we
upstairs.
learn in
Yeah.
the finale. Yeah. But
I do like how he when Terry Silver sits down, he closes the laptop because we
mhm,
previously saw that they were observing the students, so he doesn't want Kenny to know
mhm.
that they're being watched. Let me see what else did I have in my notes. This I do like how Terry Silver is at least kind of in tune with his students, right? So he kind of remembers that, oh yeah, your father was serving, and so your
Mhm.
brother, oh, that was the one in juvie, and but the one thing that Tig he does here when he's listing off like the people that that he listened to or whatever, his father, his captain, his friend, he does this little head tilt as if like, I don't know if he's my friend, kind of
Mhm.
questions that last part, calling him that because he doesn't know what else to call Kreese, right? Like he's supposed to be his friend, but it's just a guy that always manipulated him.
Mhm.
And I do like the point where Kenny was like, "Well, I thought what was he say? Like I thought you told me Kenny or Kyler was the leader or whatever,
Tyler's
right?"
in. Yeah. Right. Mhm.
Yeah. He's like, "Did I?" And then he's like, "Okay, what do you want me to do?" And I love Tig's delivery. He's like, "Stop asking me or anyone else that question.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
stop, like,
I
just do
really
it. Are
like
you a
the
leader?"
lesson. Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the lesson. It's like, well, I didn't, I never said Kyler was the leader. And I like that lesson and I like it for Kenny because like Kenny Kenny naturally follows,
Right. Like
other
Robbie.
people and it's like and right and it's like who's the leader? Well, the leader is the one who steps up and takes charge. And like Kenny was letting Kyler do that. So then Kyler was the leader, but Terry Silver didn't assign him that role. So and so I do like that lesson. Um the,
Yeah. And just basically like, yeah, do you
yeah.
want to be a king or do you want to be a pawn?
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
but I like that it does get to Kenny and I think Kreese is a good sensei for Kenny. Now the lessons and stuff like that are obviously debatable, but in terms of getting through to Kenny, this pairing works.
Is it mind games? Because remember, Amy said mind games, and I assume this is where she's talking when she wrote that.
I think so too.
Yeah, but like like it doesn't seem mind games. Like I think like what he's teaching him is like genuine, right? The one thing I would say is he's talking like I've seen the best fighters in the valley, Moskowitz, Diaz, Keen. I think you can be better than all of them, and that's something that I'm really. I think there's debate and it hasn't talked about much, but different people take that differently. Because I think the show, I say the show, the writers, everything. I think it's intended that Terry Silver really believes that, like, he's
Yeah.
thinking that, and maybe like Amy or other people are thinking it like he doesn't actually believe that, but he's telling it to Kenny because Kenny's all he's got. Like,
Yeah, well, that's not necessarily true, and I agree with you. I think the show, it has written for Terry to believe that because what Kenny has that others do not at this point is like a particular set of skills, and not necessarily skill, but he's got the speed, right?
right,
And matched up with Kyler doesn't really have anything. Like he has his strength and wrestling and stuff like that,
and a
but
big mouth. He's got a big mouth.
he's got the big mouth that
Yeah,
can get him into trouble.
right.
And so I think what Terry is observing, which I don't feel like we as an audience has seen it, and maybe it's one of those things that we're supposed to just believe Terry, especially if you did believe him in episode 2 where he spoke with Tori, right?
Mhm.
And so I think if you believed him speaking with Tori, then we're supposed to kind of believe him when he's speaking to Kenny.
Mhm.
And I think what he sees in Kenny is more valuable than anybody at this point, not named Tori.
Right, right.
So Devin, I think the jury's still out on his opinion on her, and that's kind of what they're kind of going through right now, observing.
Mhm.
Because the other thing, what we're gonna see coming up here is that nobody is willing to challenge Sensei Kim,
Right.
but Tori and Devin.
Mhm.
So I think that's the other thing too.
So,
So
well, the one other point, like I made, is like if the show is taking it seriously, that maybe Kenny can be better than Miguel, Robbie, or Hawk, Moskowitz. Yeah, because keep in mind now, we also know from next episode, where Kenny kind of beats Hawk in the fight, but do you does the audience accept that? Because that's part of what I think is part of the problem with this episode is the show wants to set Kenny up as a rival who could be even better than the characters we've been with since the beginning of the series. And I don't think like the audience can emotionally accept that. Like are you ready to accept Kenny being better than Miguel and Robbie?
that's a hard question to ask since I know how it plays out.
Right.
And I yeah, I think that's kind of the trouble, right? Like kind of like you said,
Mhm.
Terry's really doesn't have anybody else. Like
Mhm.
everybody has kind of migrated to the other dojos at this point. Um, yeah, so I could have, if that's where they were going to go with it, I could have been willing to accept that he would have been the new challenger.
Mhm.
But he would have had to have gone down that path, and it's just going to be another one of those cycles again.
Right.
Just another one that has bought into the Cobra Kai way of life.
Mhm. Cobra
So
Kai
yeah,
philosophy. Mhm.
the philosophy. Thank you. That's definitely what I was kind of looking for. And I don't know how many times you can play that story,
Mhm.
with and just having to
Mhm.
do that with different kids. I think it's much more interesting
Mhm.
to use the ones that we already have and kind of, I guess, make them go on a roller coaster, so to speak. I
Mhm.
mean, I think, like who more interesting to see, will they or won't they than Johnny and Daniel, even though we wanted them just to, link up since season 1, but you can't really do that with anybody else, right?
No, you can't. Yeah.
Because like, for example, Silver and Kreese, can't really do it with them.
No, and and it's different for everyone too. It's different for Miguel and
A
Robbie and
different
stuff.
dynamic.
Yeah,
You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, okay, where do we go from here? We go to
jail.
jail. Kreese offers some Jello. He tries to explain that he was working for Johnny. That he was working for Johnny. This was the whole legacy thing, right? Like I wanted you to kind of take over. Is that what we're
Right,
talking about?
right.
Or
Yeah, that's yeah. He was doing it all for Johnny because Daniel's in the other room. Um, he's talking to Johnny. Yeah,
right? And then Daniel makes Kreese talk before he gives him the phone number to his lawyer.
right.
Um, I like the part where like offers the Jello, and then Gabriel comes up real fast and he waves him away, and
Hmm.
he gives a look to Johnny as if like, oh, you should have taken it. You, I just love it. Like you can read it all in his face. He's very, very
Hmm.
disappointed,
Hmm.
Gabriel. Yeah, Kreese's legacy. What do you think about that?
Well, so I wrote like he's saying to Johnny, I was doing it all for you to take over. And then he says, LaRusso, Miyagi, they took away our chance in 84. And I really like chance for what? Like Johnny was already the two-time champ. Did it really, and I think it contradicts the end of season 4, because in the end of season 4, he was like, I knew if you lost, you would go into it would trigger and you'd go into a spiral. But now he's like, well, they took away our chance. Like it seems like it's two different stories to me. Um, that's how I'm taking it, or getting confused by what he's saying.
You think that might have anything to do with his come to terms in the previous episode with the therapist?
Um,
Maybe a different outlook on it now?
but what was the outlook before and what was the outlook now? I just like
Yeah.
because in the end of season 4, when he says, I was trying to stop you from going in a downward spiral, like he's like, you told me to fight dirty. No, I didn't want you to go in that spiral. Well, he's doing that for Johnny, right? Like, he was
Yeah.
trying to save him, which by the way is what happened, although we can get into what actually triggered Johnny's downward spiral and 30 years of resentment towards Daniel. um
Hmm.
so like, I don't know, like it's just like, yeah, I don't even see the I'm not sure how the therapy from the previous episode is playing into this episode.
I wonder if this is like something that hasn't quite paid off yet. Like maybe the mind games is with Johnny.
I mean, it could be, it could be, or Kreese remembers whatever's most convenient in the moment. Um,
Yeah, or just says whatever he can to kind of to kind of keep Johnny in his corner.
yeah.
Any sliver of hope that he can
Mhm.
have with Johnny, which is, I guess the other thing is like what is his maybe not quite end game, but like what is he looking to? He doesn't want Cobra Kai in Silver's hands, right? At this
Mhm.
point now, would rather have it in Johnny's because that would be his legacy because he's got no one else to pass it on to.
Mhm.
What do Miyagi and Daniel take away from them?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know.
You don't have an idea, right? I mean, that's why you're posing the question.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, they took away our chance. And I was like, what chance did they have in 84 that they didn't have in 83 when he was a two-time champ already? Like, that's what I don't get.
Right, because he's not looking to expand like Terry was, right? Like we're going to be getting that conversation here pretty soon.
Correct. Yeah.
Um, I don't think I have anything else to add to that. So we go back to Miyagi-Do, where Chozen warns them that they must adapt or go extinct. And Anthony suggests that they work together to protect their eggs. And I do like all of this. Chosen attacks, but can't get to the egg.
Right. Yeah. I didn't go into very detail on the fighting, but he's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
cooking at the beginning of that. That's where he's like, he's
Little
making
Asian
his lunch or
squat.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of the Asian squat
Mhm.
there, and I don't know where he got the little travel stove, but
Mhm.
it's fine. Let's see. Yeah, so they talk about working as one unit, and maybe that's really what it is. So Chosen is happy that they're communicating. I like the way it's choreographed, though, for sure.
Mhm.
It almost looks like they're actually making contact and just kind of pulling back slightly.
Mhm.
And I like the pivoting and the flanking as a unit. That's all really nice. And At the end of it, Chozen kind of points out that Cobra Kai basically has no substance.
Mhm.
Well, I'm paraphrasing all of this, but basically they're flashy, but there's nothing underneath. And Miyagi-Do, Eagle Fang, whatever, they got the heart, and
Mhm.
and them working as a unit is going to be much stronger than the Cobra Kai students as individuals.
Mhm.
Which I'm not sure. Well, I mean, he was in there; he got to see what's up. So, I think Chosen knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good lesson on teamwork. I once got a comment for someone who said they didn't like this lesson just because they felt like it wasn't like they felt like the lesson was gang up on someone. It's just
Okay,
and like use brute force as opposed to like Miyagi-Do where it's more like thoughtful or like I don't know what an exercise or something. But this one it's like don't be smart, just everyone gang up on the one person. I don't know. I never
okay.
took it somewhere, but like I did get a comment or two of people saying like that's how they were taking it, and that's why they didn't like this sort of this lesson essentially. Like everyone worked together just really amounts to everyone gang up on someone.
Oh gosh, you know what it is? They don't think it's sexy, like the way it looks, right? Like it's like, what is that? That's not waxing on, waxing off. Like what
Right. It's not you didn't do a chore that turned into a cool move,
right?
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
So just get a bunch of friends and get all together. I mean, it's
mhm,
obviously going to pay off, but yeah, it's not something cool enough for them. It's
mhm,
probably what it is.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really it. It's not a silver bullet.
Mhm, no.
It's not yeah, anything else Chosen has done previously. So
Mhm,
it's just like, oh, a group of you guys hiding eggs.
mhm,
That's probably why they said something like that.
mhm,
We go back to Cobra Kai, and Devin wants to take another shot. Tori saves her from a no mercy blow. And they lose this exercise, but Tori saved Devin. Kenny and Kyler also try again, and Kenny fights Kyler, which ultimately distracts Sensei Odell, and he gets a point.
mhm. So, well, I'll just start off at the beginning. So when it starts with Sensei Kim, like talking to the girls there, like, well, no one except the challenge, and in her way, and then Devin's like talking to Tori, wants to get back in, and then Tori's like, okay, if we do this, you need to listen to me, and and Devin's like, that's what I've been trying to do since I got here. That just line nails me every time because what did I establish earlier? Was she listening to Tori the first time they were fighting Sensei Kim?
No, she was kind of doing her own thing.
No, she
Yeah.
wasn't. But she says with such sincerity here, that's what I've been trying to do since I got here. And so I'm putting out the theory, is Devin Lee a psychopath? Like
Is that a new video you're working on?
it may be. I may actually release it as a short, but it's something I'm thinking because is Devin is she doesn't care like if Tori gets hurt. She doesn't care if she gets hurt. Who anyone gets hurt. She disregards any. She speaks without relevance to like the truth. Like the fact that it's so what she says is so not true, and like she knows, and it just happened, but she says it with such conviction. Is Devin Lee a psychopath? That's my question for the
I
day.
mean, it's an interesting question. I think this is more so like I know what you mean by like the in the moment that
Mhm,
was a little bit different. Maybe she was kind of taking it out as like, well, if you're not going to listen to me or respond to me, I'm not going to listen to you. But
mhm,
she did try in the beginning of the episode, so
mhm.
no, doesn't work for you.
No.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, yeah, to each their own.
Yeah.
But I do like, again, kind of a military standpoint, Tori was being selfless
Mhm.
at this point.
Yeah.
And, Sensei Kim, she doesn't see it this way. She's like, you should have sacrificed your pawn,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. I guess you would probably do so as a leader. So, situational,
Yeah.
it could be a different story. But in this exercise is what she's going after.
Yeah. Oh, I really like that too. Where Tori's like, there are no points in the real world. And Kim
Right.
says there are in this exercise. I love that because because it's true. Sometimes you do have to win the competition you're in, not the competition you want to be in.
Right.
So if you're in a
Right.
point-based competition, you win by getting the points.
Right. So, and again, situational,
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly. Exactly.
like, what are you supposed to be doing right now? But I guess that also kind of shows you like the slightly different philosophies, where where Kreese or Silver, they're going to tell you like, everything can apply in life.
Hmm.
So, but also, yeah, to Sensei Kim's point, it's like, well, this is an exercise, and this is the objective of the exercise. You're
Hmm.
not going to get brownie points for being cute.
Right, right.
So I guess that's kind of the other thing too.
Hmm.
Now, interesting thing about Kenny, I feel like you maybe have brought this up before, but a lot of Kenny's quote unquote points have come in like sucker punches or kicks in this example.
Um,
Does that sound something familiar to you? Or might be making
well,
that up.
yeah, I mean, I talked about it in regards to the Hawk fight next episode, but
Okay.
and stuff,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
but
sounds right.
yeah, it is like a
Getting back
like
to season 4, where he first punches Kyler, right? That was a sucker punch.
mhm,
Uh, and then what else? You'll have coming up in another season. This one was a kick. Sensei Odell was
mhm,
distracted because of the fight between the two.
yeah.
Kicks him there. So,
Now
but
Odell could have gone after them both while they were fighting each other, so you could say Odell was holding back there. Um,
right, yeah, yeah,
Tyron
it could be.
Woodley. Oh, have we mentioned that he is the professional MMA? Yeah,
Yes,
Tyron.
yeah,
Yeah, because he has the line in this one too. So enough.
he has
Like,
a line.
yeah.
Absolutely,
Mhm,
like yeah, yeah. I was uh that was interesting, but I guess that's pretty much it,
mhm.
basically on Kenny. But yeah, he was able to get one kick in,
Yeah,
so good on him.
yeah. It
And
was.
he
I
understood.
do like it.
He
Mhm.
what's that expression? He understood the assignment.
Oh yeah,
So he kind of sacrificed Kyler a little bit. They got in that fight and used took advantage and
yeah,
and
yeah.
and, and came up.
Mhm.
So point winner. So Terry Silver likes that. We go back to jail, and Kreese tells Johnny and Daniel that Terry Silver's story, and they traveled to Korea to train with Master Kim Sung Young. Terry Silver bought the dojo and wants to enter the Sakai Takai, which translates to a world tournament.
Mhm.
And Kreese thinks it's too soon. This is the young Kreese.
Yeah.
He wants to focus on his new student Johnny. He has the same name. Kreese tells them that Silver's plan is to go global, and now the Master Kim is played by fight choreographer Don Lee. For those that didn't know,
Oh, was that done? I didn't know that.
yep, yep, that was Don Lee.
Well,
My
is
my
he
question is
credited
what.
in the? I didn't check the credits. Is
I think so. I believe he is.
Mhm.
But also I was kind of wondering like why did it seem like they were trying to obscure his face? I
No.
wonder if I mean that's got to be intentional. So and also apparently little Kim Dae-un, I guess she wasn't supposed to be there because maybe too dangerous, because I guess she's still kind of wet behind the ears,
Yeah,
right? Because like she knocked something over and then like Kreese, he's like, oh no, that's my bad.
yeah,
I did that.
yeah.
So, but that establishes their
Relationship.
connection.
Yeah. Hmm.
Relationship, yeah,
Hmm.
sure. I was trying to avoid that because I didn't want somebody thinking me weird saying that. Like,
No,
well,
I mean it's there's she's this
it's a
all the
relationship. It's
yeah,
nothing
it is.
romantic.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I,
nothing romantic.
yeah.
So, but yeah, that again, just kind of calling back to her asking about Kreese when we first saw her in the last episode.
Right. Yeah. The first thing off the plane, so like I
So,
feel like
thoughts on
yeah,
this dialogue?
okay, the
Yeah,
dialogue.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just between Kreese and Silver here about the new student Johnny
Mhm.
and all that because it's like what happened to this Kreese between here and where we saw him in the movie.
I don't know. And I it's kind of interesting. Or even well, it depends. Like, remember the season 2 flashback? Um, when Johnny was like upset, I guess probably from Sid or something, and Kreese is like, just because I gave you that blue belt doesn't mean you're ready. I forget what the exact line is from season 2. And
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, I don't either.
I think he had a blue belt for some reason. But um I don't know. I think like a thinking could be is this is just the side of Kreese who is maybe thinking of Johnny, that brings something out of him, that's not as normal. And and he's just talking to Silver. He's not running the dojo. Like, so it's like just sort of like a discussion about the future of the dojo, essentially. So,
So you think by himself and with the students, he has a harder exterior, but with Terry, he's kind of himself.
yeah, at least with Terry talking about Johnny, um, especially because remember, Terry Silver apparently knows Johnny Lawrence very well, even though they never met. If we remember in episode one, season four, episode one, at Terry's house, he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you know," he immediately remembers who Johnny Lawrence is.
Right.
So
Like your top student or
yeah,
whatever the line was.
yeah, your Larusso is working with your top student. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
So
There you go.
he's talked about and will apparently continue to talk about Johnny to Silver over these 4 years.
Right. Right. All the way into the events of the Karate Kid 3.
Right.
So I guess, because that's where we see Silver again. So I guess that's kind of the assumption. You would have to think so because it still involves Cobra Kai. That must have come up. What happened to Lawrence? Oh, lost a fight, try to choke his ass out
Mm-hmm.
in the parking lot. He got beat up by this old little Japanese guy.
Yeah.
You know, and here we are. Um, yeah, I thought this was a nice flashback. I always like seeing Nick Marini and Barrett Carnahan.
Mm-hmm.
I do like seeing them. I could have used just a little bit more. Like this, like if you're calling this episode like the bridge or whatever, like this flashback is also like the bridge to what I hope to see more of. Of them, kind of like at the end, right before the events of part three.
Or even the first one. Um,
Right, right. Yeah, I guess so. Because
yeah.
what year was this one?
This is 1980.
70, oh, 80,
Yeah.
80. So,
And,
so
and
yeah.
Johnny
So,
joined in 79, right? That was the in season one, it was 79. Um,
oh gosh, you would ask me, wouldn't you? Uh, yes. If you're asking me, then probably yes. I feel, your attention to detail is a lot better than mine. But
I'll double
also, I
check it.
mean, yeah,
It's in
but
Quiver. It's at the
even
beginning of Quiver.
right,
Um,
episode 6.
79. Yep. 79 is when
Okay,
he
so
makes that. Mhm.
so that's a year after,
Mhm.
and then 3, 4 years. In another 4 years, something must have happened. I mean,
Mhm.
something had to have happened, to this Kreese and to what we see in the first movie. I still
And
feel.
even Terry Silver, right? Because Terry Silver's not hopped up on cocaine yet.
Not yet.
Not
So,
yet.
so I
Yeah.
mean, not the amount of what we see in
Yeah.
the movies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Forgot about that little bit there.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's got the drip. I think is what the kids call, right? He's definitely got the ascot and everything. I feel I know at one point Mary Page Keller, who's Thomas's wife, there was like a tweet about an ascot too, and I think that yeah, this was definitely before season 5 came out. And so when I saw that, I was like,
Mhm.
they talked about it, or
Mhm.
they knew, that was coming
Yeah.
back.
Mhm.
So I did not, I I didn't look into it further, but I know Cody, he who hosts Strike First Media, he translated like the writing on the magazine. Did you do anything like that?
Um, no, and I think like, and I don't think there's really anything of interest there. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
almost nonsense or something. Um, nothing of interest
Okay.
from it. Like I think it like mentions the styles like karate, taekwondo, or something like what would be at the world tournament, maybe, or something. Like it's like more than
Okay.
just the karate, I think, or something like that.
And so we come back to Daniel handing him the phone number, and he turns it over, and it's no mercy motherfucker.
Right.
So again, this is just one of those examples where I just love seeing, like in my group specifically, where I forgot who posted it, but somebody had posted and said, all right, who's getting the F bomb? And I just kind of like because it's
Oh
well
yeah.
Daniel gets it, but he gets it 3 times.
Mhm.
It's so in my mind it's like not who gets it, but like how many times does this person get it was kind of my thing. I do like that. And also like, gotta give it up to Billy for a lot of the face acting.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like but there was a point where I feel like Kreese kind of gives in because the look that Billy is giving is Johnny is like, this guy's not gonna give it up, like we waste our time. I feel like you could read all of that in his face, and that's why Kreese ends up giving up the goods after all.
Mhm.
And so and I just love how like Johnny looks over, kind of to read that the little piece of paper and is amused by what's on it. So I like that a lot. So love it. Never thought I'd see it on here. And coming from Daniel, I think it's even funnier.
Yeah, yeah. There's a nice like little surprise pop there, that just makes it
Yeah.
all the more fun. And
Yeah. Because
like Johnny like knows and like smiles at him, like, but like Johnny didn't see the paper, so I was like, did this at some point know beforehand like this could happen, and they're even ready for it? Um,
well, no, I think
what do you think?
I think Daniel had this in mind,
Mhm.
or at least was, I think he had this in mind and just didn't share with Johnny so that way he could get like a organic reaction or, so like, well, if Johnny already feels this way, just let him continue feeling this way, and I'll kind of do my thing, and maybe this will work,
Mhm.
you know, and he's just lucky that it did go in his favor.
Yeah.
That wraps up our recaps. If you have any other uh, anything else that we might have missed that you want to talk about as I pull up the feedback from the group.
Not really. Just yeah. I was thinking about the egg prices that you know, Chosen destroying all those eggs would have been worth so much more today. But we talked about that at the beginning. Yeah, I think I think that we covered it.
Yeah. I do have the feedback. There is one thing that I forgot to mention. I feel very embarrassed about this, but Paul Walter Hauser won a Golden Globe for his role on, was it Blackbird? Yeah, Blackbird, which is a Apple Plus series.
Yeah, that just went over our heads, didn't we? We forgot that. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
completely
congrats to
forgot about
him.
that. Congrats to him. He also won a Critics' Choice Award for Best Supporting Actor. And if you guys like wrestling, he was also on AE AEW, All Elite Wrestling, where he took a guitar to the head, smashes it. So the beatdown on Stingray continues.
He wanted. They
Did
said
you?
live the music, and I guess
Yeah. Did you see that video?
I did not. I was
Oh,
unaware of the wrestling one. Yeah.
yeah, I will send that to you
Mhm.
because it's like, wow, he took it like a champ for real.
Mhm.
You'll just have to see it. Anything my description will not do it justice. All right, so the feedback. This is in the group page, so I appreciate everyone that left us some feedback. Let's kick off with Dorian. He loves the Terry and Kreese flashback and the origins of young Terry's ascot collection. It was so good to see Daniel and Johnny teaming up to interrogate Kreese, Tango and Cash style. No mercy, motherfucker. Chosen is the best sensei these kids will ever have. I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. I had to think about that. Anthony figuring out the egg exercise is the beginning of Miss Miyagi's prophecy that he will be the one to protect the family. What do you think about that?
Um, obviously we'll see where that are we calling it a prophecy or where that will go, but it certainly is like his first step really in Miyagi Do or
Yeah.
karate in general. As you want to say, like he contributed something, he thought it through, he had the idea. So yeah, I mean that certainly would make sense. It's certainly his first step in his
Yeah.
training.
I didn't even think about that, but I know that is something that we kind of been waiting for
Mhm.
since it was mentioned in season 4. So for sure. The next one comes from Jeff P. He says, I love how Chosen that the kids, seems to put out that the kids don't know the Japanese commands. Yeah, I can understand that, but I mean, but also Daniel doesn't do that, right? So where would they wouldn't know that, right? And same thing with Johnny.
Yeah.
But there are certain things I feel, maybe they could probably pick up on, and I know he's not gonna bow to them before they bow to him.
Mhm.
So yeah. I thought that was pretty funny stuff. It's almost kind of like Johnny in season 1, right?
Mhm.
To Miguel, or when he tells the kids to get what does he say, to get in rows or whatever? You mean
Yeah,
columns?
line up, line up.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. So it's different but same kind of
Mhm.
thing. Jeff continues Trader Joe 329. And how do you think Miyagi would react to Daniel making a deal with Kreese and then going back on his word? Yeah, I'll ask you that first.
Um, let's see. I think in the context, yeah, I think in the context, it's fine.
Because if we
Yeah,
also believe what everyone else is telling Daniel in the previous episode, this is a fight that he can't back out of, right? Like
right,
he's got to take down Terry. So if we believe they are correct about that, then Mr. Miyagi would understand. Like, yeah, well, we needed information, right?
right. And if you
So,
believed Kreese was technically guilty, um, then I don't think you should feel bad about not helping him get out of jail. Um,
right. Yeah, there's that too. And so like I kind of did wonder, it's like, well, this was probably like if he did believe Daniel's word, he would have gone with this rather than breaking out anyway, because like it's just, it would be better for him, right, to not
mhm,
get caught thrown in jail had he snuck out.
mhm,
So now he's kind of left with the one option,
mhm.
when he took the badge, right?
Right.
That's already happened. So the next one comes from JS. He says, I like how Robbie put Hawk in his place about all the shit he's done. I like Hawk a lot, but that exchange was cool. So I think I said it right. My only problem was Dimitri interrupting. Did I say that?
I don't think you did. I think we might
Okay.
have skipped that a little bit.
Okay. Because I know I wrote that down in my notes. So I might have missed that because I feel that was the opportunity to also have Robbie say, you also took, Mr. Miyagi's Medal of Honor. Right. And that could have
Oh,
also
yeah.
gone into something else
He
too,
didn't
like
mention
Sam.
that the Medal of Honor though.
No, he
Yeah.
never did. But
Yeah.
that's because Dimitri's like, hey, look, no, you're an
Oh,
asshole and he's an asshole too.
yeah,
And,
Dimitri.
that all of that. So
Mhm.
it's like Dimitri's fault, that he intervened, and
Some
like
of
we
the
could have
stuff he
had it
does
all out
mention
there.
though was when he mentions breaking Dimitri's arm, and he was in juvie at the time. And I remember thinking, well, does he know about that? Apparently he does. So, um,
Yeah, he could have been filled in,
yeah, yeah,
or
filled
maybe
in.
it was in one of those emails, right? Maybe Sam wrote it in the email and he finally got to check it at some point. Because I actually thought about tweeting that out one night, just be like, did Robbie get a chance to read all those emails eventually?
I don't think he did. He
No?
was sulking over Sam and trying to get over her.
Yeah.
So
But I feel it's something he could have learned, but I know that he's just now coming,
yeah, from
you know.
Kyler or someone at Cobra Kai,
Yeah,
filled them
because
in.
they were all
Yeah,
there to witness it.
yeah.
Tori could have told
Tori
him,
could have told him.
she was there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's see. He continues. I always thought that Dimitri and Hawk should have been Anthony's mentors. I guess because all three of them love Dungeon Lord. So, in my opinion, I felt they would have been better suited to teach him than Sam. The speech before the group fight is about all I got for that. The group fight was my favorite part of this episode. They were all
Mhm.
fighting together, but the way it's shot, you see Robbie and Hawk fighting together and Sam and Miguel fighting together. Love it. Not feeling the whole Cobra Kai dojo scenes. I don't really care for the direction they went with Kenny and Devin. Those scenes and characters could have been done differently in this episode, in my opinion. My feedback on this will carry over to the next episode. Not trying to be a negative Nancy in any way. It's just one of those things. The prison scene is the most moment that Kreese. The prison scene is the moment that Kreese knew he lost Johnny. You could just see it in his face. Oh yeah, and the no mercy motherfucker. No, it was pretty awesome. I was like, oh shit, and laughed. So yeah, everyone seems to like that.
Yeah.
And MMF.
And that,
So
yeah, and as far as the Cobra Kai, I think that's in the same category or ballpark of like what I was saying. Like it's hard to accept Kenny as like the main top student, or with the potential, just because like the problem the show has is most of the main characters are now over in the Miyagi Do Miyagi Fang
right,
side,
right.
and we're left with Tori, Devin, and Kenny essentially, and it's like Kenny's still like the new character. He came in season
Right.
4. Like you're just not ready for him to be like the big bad guy or the big tough fighter on that side, right? Like it's just like
And
yeah,
right, it's not even set up for that way, right? I mean,
right. Mhm.
he learns the silver bullet, but that's it. And he has his moment during the sparring,
Mhm.
but yeah, they don't give Kenny enough to earn being the bad, right?
Mhm. Right.
The next one comes from Persephone. She says, "Is this the episode where Kreese told Terry about how he wanted to start a dojo to help kids, and he mentioned Johnny? If so, please, for the love of egods, please, someone give an answer on what happened in 4 years that had Kreese go from, in a Matilda reference, Miss Honey to Trunchbull. I am begging for an explanation. Someone please give me one." So, kind of talked about it. Let me add this from Anne. She kind of answers or comments that there. She says, "I've been thinking about this a lot because that's one of the reasons the South Korea flashback was not a favorite of mine. When Kreese talks about Johnny as being one of the best, yet he even has the same name as me, made me eye roll a little. How does he change in just 4 years? Supposedly Vietnam, Bessie's death, and Captain Turner Hardin, the nice kid we met in episode 302, but the subsequent flashbacks in seasons 4 and 5 don't really show that, do they? They do show Kreese's commitment to Cobra Kai. The Cobra guys said drugs, which I can buy. Baby Silver wasn't the only one indulging in some illegal substances. I suppose that's what the writers would explore more if there were ever a young Kreese Silver spinoff. Though I'd rather see the young Miyagi story before that one. So there you
Well,
go.
yeah,
So
in the therapist scene in episode 6, the last person he saw was himself, the young Kreese.
right.
Um, I guess like you assume it's the young Kreese from before Vietnam, but is it not? Is it like the young Kreese in 1980 that he saw? Um, did somehow his determination to help Johnny drive him over the edge? Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, 4 years is a lot, and a lot can happen in those 4 years. But I like what Mikey and Jeremy said. Maybe it's drugs uh, because we believe that they continue their friendship, right?
Mhm.
Kreese and Silver, and I can't see Silver having all that blow, and unless Kreese is like a just say no kind of guy. That's your buddy. You party with your buddy. So I think Kreese dabbles. We just don't have that story yet. In parentheses question mark. So. The next one comes from David. He says, "Awesome episode. Chosen training Miyagi Fang was both epic and hilarious. Kudos to Anthony on figuring out what the lesson was actually saying. I'm so happy he's really growing into his own after being just the comic relief in previous seasons. Also, that my cousin Vinny reference was hilarious. I kind of wish Joe Pesci showed up and represented Kreese, and that would have been the plot for my cousin Vinny too. I like that.
I
I would
do.
love a
Yeah.
my cousin Vinny
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
We never got one,
Uh,
did we?
no, we didn't. One of my this is from Mikey G. He says one of my favorite parts of the series is the unique training methods that each sensei uses. I think Johnny and the Cobras in the cement truck is still my favorite, but Chozen training the Miyagi-Dos would second for me. Where does Chozen protect the egg rank for you guys compared to the cement truck? The roof jump, Daniel inside the walk-in freezer, and others that I might be forgetting. Ooh, good question.
I think I have it just a little bit lower, just because like the concept is good, but like the way like chosen, they're all in the backyard. It kind of like if he keeps sneaking up on them, even though he was like 20 feet away, taking out the other egg, and then he sneaks up and like on Bert and Nate and like Robbie. I'm not the biggest fan. Like I like a little bit more like logic, and it breaks down a little bit for me. So I rank it as a little bit just lower. Partially just on how it was executed. I do like the lesson and the idea of the teamwork, though.
Yeah, yeah. I would say it's up there because I feel that's the less improvised one as a sensei, like the roof jump, the fridge, all those. The, those are
Like
like
he has this own lesson in
they've
his
never
own
done it before.
dojo back in Okinawa.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
exactly. Like this is something that he already does.
Right.
So I like the idea of that. And she adds to him that protect the egg is definitely her favorite. The roof jump is not even probable, so so it's her least favorite. The next one, feedback comes from Jera. She says, "This is one of my favorite episodes of season five. Love Chosen's training method. It was a great way for the kids to learn about working as a team. It was awesome to see that Anthony was the first one to figure this out, and then it was used in the final episode, Protect the Egg. I also love the metaphor that Chosen used about being mile deep and not mile wide. Like we may be small, but we are mighty. The visit with Kreese in prison was cool too. The no mercy motherfucker note was classic. Also, I think that's at least the fourth mention, and I think at least two or three of them were censored.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's funny that people are commenting it, but
The
okay,
no
so half
mercy
of them.
mother beep.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're like censoring like certain letters or whatever or MFR. So I think that's funny. Actually, see that's coming up. So that's a 3 out of 5 were censored. The next one comes from Randy C. He says the series needs more moments like the customer interrupting the meeting. It was much like Johnny and Miguel's neighbor briefly interjecting himself a couple episodes back and reminds us that the characters live in a bizarre karate bubble. Finally, the No Mercy MFer move was badass. I'm sure this was a proud moment for Johnny as well, seeing his influence on his former enemy and now BFF. So yeah, thank you, Randy, for that.
Mhm.
The next one comes from Anne. She says, in the opening montage, Johnny says the line that Chosen gives in the trailer. If this continues, everything we have fought for won't even be a memory. Any thoughts on why?
Um, I think it was meant as they were worried of giving something away in the trailer. Like if Johnny was saying it, then you know they're working together or something. I guess. Or Johnny's working to take down Cobra Kai, even though he was shutting down the dojo and going to Mexico.
It
So,
gives a little bit more mystique, right? Because now I'm trying to wonder if that one sequence where Johnny comes to LaRusso's house and the door opens, was that part of one of the trailers or was that a picture?
no, I think that was in the trailer. That
Okay.
shot there, yeah, that's in
Yeah,
there with
because
the with a
that
worried look and yeah,
right.
even a minute.
Doesn't necessarily say that they'll be working together too.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know exactly.
I suppose it's also possible they changed their mind. It's possible, like when they recorded it, each actor recorded all of it, and then they just stuck in whichever one they wanted, like how they wanted it to be. And maybe at
Oh
some point
yeah.
between the trailer and the final, like they said, you know what, let's switch it. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there that it's possible,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
um,
Yeah, no, I mean those are much better ideas that I can come up with. So she continues all everyone knows now is karate, Cobra Kai karate. Terry Silver's karate is a direct callback to the Karate Kid 3.
mhm,
When Silver
mhm,
maniacally tells Miyagi from now on, when people say karate around here, all they'll mean is Cobra Kai karate, John Kreese's karate. You won't even
right,
be a memory, which goes with Johnny Chosen's line near the end of the montage. I love Chosen training the kids. Wonderful interactions. He has the perfect blend of cryptic like Mr. LaRusso, yet aggressive like Sensei Lawrence, and love that they still call Daniel Mr. LaRusso like Mr. Miyagi, even though they all consider, even though they also consider him their sensei. Yeah, I
mhm.
love that too. Philomena, she adds to Anne's comment, that's a great pickup regarding the kids calling Daniel Mr. LaRusso like he does Mr. Miyagi. I didn't even think about that. And actually, neither did I. I just thought that was something Dimitri did, and maybe some of them do. So I never really
Like
paid attention to who actually does.
well, I was gonna say Miguel calls him, but then he also called him Sensei in season 4. So,
Right.
um,
I guess it kind of depends.
yeah,
So
just not Anthony and Sam, but
yeah. Well, right. And continues. Kenny and his cronies dragging Anthony to the black bathroom for the shitty swirly was just nasty. Throw up emoji. Do you think Kenny's bullying of Anthony in season 5 is worse than what Zach and his middle school goons did to Kenny in season 4?
Um,
Yes, yes, I
you're
think
gonna go
so.
with yes.
Yes.
He
Well,
stole
the
his
swirly is pretty
clothes.
bad.
He stole his clothes.
Well,
Although he didn't have to run out into the school hallway, but
right.
after having his clothes stolen. But
And then the milk.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, they did more, right? Like they did more to him in school.
yeah.
But I don't know, man, the swirly and
It's
now all
pretty
the kids are
bad.
calling him
Yeah,
shithead. That's
it's
pretty
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I will go. I will go with yes. I think Kenny's bullying was worse just because of that one act.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Here's another one. I love the smug look on Daniel's face when he gave the note to Kreese, but I always thought motherfucker was one word. My phone doesn't even autocorrect it, so it took me out of the scene for a split second. Interesting. Okay, because Anne's a teacher, for those
Minus
that don't
one on
know.
spelling.
Daniel, come on now. Eh, So yeah, she gave the little like the rock emoji with the eyebrow too. That's pretty funny. She says the shot of Chozen running toward the sparring deck has got to be one of the most beautiful shots in the show, which I completely
Yeah, it
agree
is.
about. And I'll look that up in a little bit here too. Allie from across the pond, also with an I. I'm so annoyed at myself for missing the last review as Ouroboros is my favorite episode so far this season. Daniel's Amanda, I don't go in there. Gets me every time. I also love Anthony's nod when they assemble to show their support for Daniel. Anyway, on to bad eggs. Here are my thoughts. Number one, poor Anthony getting the swirly. All I could think of was Johnny saying, pretty funny, actually. Season 3, episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem very funny. Two, Hawk saying she did. He didn't. Just like Tommy in Karate Kid 1. Good callback. You know what? I didn't even pick up on that.
Mm.
You picked up on that, or
No.
we're like, oh, I thought she moved on. Well, she did. He didn't, or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Oh wow. Good one.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty deep. Three, Tori telling Devin that Cobra Kai is dangerous and that she wouldn't be there was a well-placed reminder that Tori is behind enemy lines.
Mm-hmm.
Four, Sensei Odell taking off his ring before fighting Kyler and Kenny is a great example of how every little moment or comment on this show is meaningful. We all know that ring is quite important. Five, Kreese saying, "I want a top guy, not one of your greasy cousins." Hilarious, my cousin Vinny
Mm-hmm.
reference. Six, beautifully shot training scenes at Miyagi-Do, the classic one of Chozen running around the pond, but also when he is in the pond sneaking up on Bert and Nate. Seven, I enjoyed Anthony using his mind to outwit the obstacle again. And eight, inch wide but mile deep tugs at the heartstrings. A good episode. Oh, speaking of inch wide. I feel I'd have to look at it again. I feel Chosen does kind of a 1 inch punch to Sam.
Oh, in the fight.
Uh, yeah,
Mm.
I think she does. I think he does something like that. As an attack or block or whatever, in attempt to get the egg. So, what I'm doing real quick here is I kind of wanted to pull up something about that shot that we've all been talking about. I should have had this up a little bit sooner.
Where he's running at them.
Yeah, I had asked. So Joel also said that is one of his favorite shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, is jaw dropping? How did you guys capture the rays? He says, episode cinematographer Don Fauntleroy pitched this idea. By using a haze machine at certain times of the day, early morning, the ray of sun was amplified. He did the same at the flashback scene.
Mm.
And yeah, that makes sense too. Like if you see those like kind of close to each other
Right.
or back to back, like you can kind of see it. I think actually Ali mentioned that as well in the flashback scene. I didn't read that. Um so Ali continued, remember every detail is important on this show. And she did a side by side with Chosen and Master Kim in the shadows, basically.
Mhm.
And I feel it was online or on Twitter. Like she asked if that was if we thought that that might mean something, which I don't think it does. If there was a
No,
kind of connection.
not anything like you would think. No. Just
Yeah, yeah, nothing important, I don't believe. But yeah, that's it. I want to thank everybody for leaving us the feedback in the group.
Mhm.
So if that's something that you're interested in doing, just look for our group page. The link is also in the show notes. So check out the show notes. It's got a few links for different things, including like a voicemail. If you guys want to leave one. I'd appreciate actual voicemails instead of like 12-year-old kids trying to get auditions for me. I guess they think I'm holding auditions for season six. So, watch party. Talk a little bit about the video you just dropped about this very episode and where people can find you online.
Well, the video covers, I think, most of the points that I brought up here. But I was just talking about that as part of the series I was putting out about season 5. So that's what did I call it? Stinky eggs. Or the karate
I
just
think you
keeps
kept
going.
it
Yeah,
bad eggs
or
or
it's stinky
still.
eggs. It says on the thumbnail. Yeah, and
Oh, I
yeah,
see. Okay,
yeah. Karate just keeps going, which probably wasn't the best SEO title, algorithm title for
I
YouTube,
hate
but
those things.
yeah,
Those letters
the
SEO. I don't
best,
like it.
yeah, the best algorithm title. I think I had trouble, but anyway, stinky eggs. It says on the thumbnail. But a lot of the same stuff I brought up here. And that is at Watch Party on YouTube, and I'm Watch Party One on Twitter and Instagram. Feel free to give me a follow. I tweet and post on occasions and follow stuff and stuff. So,
Yeah. And like I get a lot of these quote unquote experts on SEO that hit me up all the time. Hey
oh,
man, and like the way they come at you is like really aggressive too. Like, hey, I seen your channel and like you could get so much more if you hire me. Just like, okay, thanks. You're probably a bot or something. They don't appear to be real people, but I think they might be. I don't know. I delete.
oh, yeah.
I see SEO and I immediately delete it. So
Mhm.
anyway, you guys can find me at Cobra Kai Pod on Twitter if that's your thing. Relatively active, but hopefully, since we're after Christmas season, hopefully it starts to die down a little bit. I'm still working quite a bit, but hopefully we can finish these episode reviews, in the next month here, and then on to kind of more fun episodes, some top 5 stuff, so we'll be doing some fun stuff and coverages and other things. I had mentioned that I'm going to be reworking the website and the transition to this becoming a podcast network and not just Cobra Kai Companion. So expect to see shows like Obliterated, Twisted Metal in the near future, and once we get word on when those will come out and any news of that, we'll definitely announce them. So until the next episode, oh, I bet you make a great monster.